In this video, I want to talk about mistakes or when we fail. And we like to think about that. When I work at startups a lot, and so we move fast, and so we don't always catch things. And when I think about it, there's two types of failure that I think about, or you want to say, one of them is actually a failure, one of them is more like a mistake, but we still learn. One of them is, hey, I intentionally made a decision. I evaluated the odds. I'm running an experiment, and I know that things are going to fail because not everything works all the time. Those are actually fine, right? You can justify, hey, here is the bet that I made. Here's was my hypothesis. Here's why I did the things that I did. And it may not have worked, but here's what we learned, and here's our next step. Those oftentimes I think are easier. And then those are probably, most of the failures that we see in startups comes into that. Like we're running hypothesis, we don't know if things are going to work. There are other things where it's straight up I just forgot. It could be, hey, I sent an email and it had typos in it, or one of my reps had a big deadline coming up and I dropped the ball on something. Um, when those come, I think the first thing I always try to do is own it. Like, hey, here's why. I don't even necessarily give. Um, it's not necessarily an excuse or anything. It's just like, here's why I failed, or I failed you on this, or I messed up. Because one of the biggest things you want to start to do is establish the trust. We don't want the trust to be broken. And the moment the trust is broken, it starts deteriorating. So I've seen it, one, two, three back to back decisions or back to back times when I felt like, people have dropped the ball and I've lost trust in them. The biggest thing we start to think about is, let's have a conversation. Is this a pattern that we're seeing, or are there underlying issues? Are they stressed? Are they not sleeping? And why are they dropping the ball? Is this a regular thing for them, or are these one-offs? And then we can start to diagnose. So just some things to think about as you're going fast and you're making decisions, but also it's highly likely you'll make mistakes. And here's how we make sure that we keep the trust together.